Hey everybody, this here's Big Will, and I got an idea from Reggie Collects actually. He had mentioned in I think it was a Go Collect video on their YouTube channel that he mentioned having like fantasy games of an investment portfolio of comics. So I thought, you know what, that's a good thing to try and do. So, of course, I'm going to have Hulk 181 as the first thing that I want to do, but I'm going to say if I had, so if I just somehow had a spare $10,000 and I wanted to put that all in comics, first off, how many could I do? What grades would I do? And then I'd want to come back and check this in 6 months and see what kind of money, if any, I would have made, lost, or, see if it just remained flat, which it's comics. I doubt that's going to happen. So let's take a look here. I'm going to go over. We got Incredible Hulk 181. I put down the names of different here on this legal pad, different books that I thought would be good, and I didn't put down a grade or anything because I know that a 9.8 of this book in particular would blow out the budget like 4 or 5 fold. But a 0.5, you got a lot of money left on the table. So what we did, or what I did, is I scrolled down and I used cover price for all this data. And I didn't pay attention to any of this high stuff. I went down to a nice, presentable grade, has a lot of room to grow because of how low it is, the 3.5, which you can see right here. Excuse me. Well, actually, you can see all of the grades there. But anyway, 3.5. So what I did is it has the highest sale of 4,500, 47 different sales. They put the FMV at 3640. So what I do is I click on that and just look at all the different cells and notice that the 4,500 cell is a really big cell. Like, seems like it might be a little too high, possible. So I decided, based on all this other stuff I'm seeing, $3,600 would be probably a good price to put for Hulk 181. So immediately, almost half of my 10,000 is gone in one book. But that's okay. So, well, let me go back. So the next book I did was, again, it's me. So the next book is Hulk 180, the actual first ever appearance of Wolverine. Yes, it's in cameo. But anyway, so what I did there was said, hey, I can probably go a little higher grade, but I also don't want to blow out my budget on this thing because just like the 181, you can blow an entire $10,000 budget out of the water with this one book, because I think the 9.8s are now, yes, the 9.8s are now just over $10,000. So I went with a flat, right down the middle, mid-grade, 5.0. Looks here, they have 24 cells. They put the FMV at 1,300 something. So what I did was I clicked on it, and I got to looking at all the 5.0 cells, and I said, you know what? I actually think based on February versus May, if I buy it raw and then get it and grade it, I think I can do $1,000 on this thing. So I put down $1,000 as my buy-in for a Hulk 180 5.0. So we'll see now what my next book is, because I'm believe it or not, I'm not straying from Wolverine very far. So our next book up is Wolverine #1. Now, it might not be the one you think it is, because I don't mean Wolverine 1, the limited series. No. I'm saying this one, the Wolverine one of his regular series. And I'm going to go with direct edition, even though there were newsstand options as well. You should be able to get a direct more so than you can a newsstand because this was 1988. So I went down, and with this book, you get a 9.8, man. 312 cells. That's a lot. They put the FMV at 635, but the last cell that they have recorded here was 865. So what that means is I have to look at all this data here, and everything is below 640, except that one big 865. So I put down $700 as how much it would cost today to buy you an 9.8 Wolverine #1. And then we go to my first non-Wolverine book. We're still with Marvel, though. So we're going to look up Fantastic Four #20. First appearance of the Molecule Man, and it's also just issue 20, really early. So what we have, let's see, here we go. That's the one we need. So I wanted to do a 5.0. So what is a 5.0 currently going for of this book? Well, let's go down here. So they have a 5.0 at 471 FMV, and that's the last sale. But there have only been 6 sales. This book isn't super hot yet. Yet, mark my words. But based on these prices and when everything was sold, I'm just going to say it's I could probably do $450, even though the last sale was $470.55, because I'm thinking buying raw, getting it graded. If I were to go that route, I believe I could do $450. So $450 is what I wrote down for the FF20. Now the rest of my books are actually DC. I have 8 books total. That's the 4th one. So the other 4 are actually all DC because, you got to give DC some love, So we're going to the old standby for DC, of course. Let's see. It's Batman, not Adventures, just Batman. Issue. Again, 181. Great number for issues. So that is the first appearance of Poison Ivy, as you all probably already know. And we're going to go down here and see. This book actually is fairly expensive, and I wanted to get a 5.0. So I rolled down here, and it looks like the FMV is 1201 according to the cover price. Highest sale they have recorded out of 22 is 1279. So we're going to click on that. And there's all our 5.0 sales. Now I decided, based on these 2 sales in May and all the others gradually going up, I think I could do 1200. So I went with a 1200 price for this particular Batman book, 181, First Poison Ivy. So that's what I have there. So I'm almost out of money, but I have 3 more books to go. So the next one we'll spend a little money on, get a bit of a guarantee, is Detective Comics. If you know, you know. $359. What is Detective Comics 359? It is the first appearance of the new Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. So we're going to scroll down. Oh, and by the way, it's a fire hot book according to cover price. That's what these symbols mean. It's a key and hot. So we scroll down, and this one I also wanted to grab. Unless it's super expensive for this, and just in general, I like to try and stay around that 5.0, literal mid grade if I can. So let's see what a 5.0 is doing. Okay, they have the last sale at excuse me, they have the FMV at 946. Last sale $1,100, 27 sales and a 5.0. So we checked all these sales, and we got 1,100. And then the previous month, nothing passing 800. So it went up like $300 just in 1 month. So what I decided to put down here was, yeah, it's hot, but if you know what you're doing, and you could probably get $1,000 for a 5.0. So I wrote down $1,000 for this 5.0, and that's what I decided to do for Detective 359 First Batgirl. The next book we have is we're going back to Batman. Now this time we're going a little later in the series to 232. Bonus points if you already know what that is. It is, of course, First Ra's al Ghul. And we're going to scroll down here. Oh, by the way, great Neil Adams cover. All right, so I first wanted to look at the 5.0, see what we can do, because I'm almost out of money. But according to this, it's around $400. Last sale $427, only 10 sales though. So in 2021, there are 2 sales. And what I decided to go on was the last sale was $427. Okay, I went pretty much with that. I said $425. I could get one for $425. So $425 for Batman 232 5.0 is what I wrote down. Now we go to my final book. And with the final book, I decided to go Golden Age. Yeah, Golden Age. And I'm almost out of money. I got 1,600 or something left out of the imaginary 10,000 that I'm using. I mean, just think there are people like JB who's doing 20,000 with like real money. So this is just me messing around, really. But a good benefit of this is if you want to see if you have, if you're any count at doing it well, do a pick like I'm doing. Look it up, write it down, check it in 6 months, then check it in a year, then check it in 2 years. However long you want to go and see, are you doing okay? So Superman number 30. Okay. Now, this is a Golden Age book, 1944. It's undervalued, by the way. And it's a book that I would love to actually have and get to sell. Obviously, it wouldn't be a PC book. But I would definitely like this book. And what this is, it is the first appearance of Imagivesting. Imagivesting. It is his first appearance. He's Marvel has a version, Impossible Man. He's basically he's Oberon. Basically, he's just this magic guy that can do whatever crap he wants, pretty much. Luckily, he just likes to annoy Superman because he could rip the entire existence apart, pretty much, if he wanted to. And you'll see here, there's not many sales. Like the only sale past an 8.5 is one and a 9.2 for $4,300. But we look at that $4,300. It was in 2013. That's when that last sale was. So you can imagine an 8.5 in 2019 went for $2,760. So imagine what that 9.2 would do now. But anyway, by the way, when you do this on cover price, this is what it brings you to. It brings you to the grade you click on, but it just says graded, and it has this data for you. And then it goes 9.2, all the different things that they have data for, it goes down. So I had to go way low. Not as low as I thought, though. I was thinking I might have to do like a 1.8. But again, this book's really undervalued. I highly recommend you guys getting a copy if you can. And a 4.0. Now, here's where you run into some issues. A 4.0, they have 3 sales listed: 2018, 2019, 2020, one in each year. And it went from $950 in 18 to a big drop of $589 in 19 to a big increase of $1,050 in 2020. And that was a little over a year ago in 2020. That was 4/21/20. So how am I going to price this thing? Well, what I decided to do was say I could maybe get a Superman 30 4.0 for $1,500. And that would leave me with $120 something out of the imaginary 10,000 that I was using. So got a little bit of wiggle room if it's a little bit more. So again, hopefully I would buy it raw, get it graded. Some of these would definitely be buy graded. But anyway, I think I could get one for that price, hopefully, because it is undervalued overall in general. No one thinks about that book, Superman 30, that is. So that's what I decided to do, is Superman 30 as the final book. And yeah, so what we're going to do, pay no attention to the mess behind me. What I'm going to do, I wrote all that down here, and the price, the grade, and what number and everything. So I have wrote down to revisit in 6 months, and we see how good I did. So in this imaginary investment portfolio of $10,000 worth of comics, will I make money, break even, or lose money? Who knows? We'll find out. But yeah, I thought that was interesting when I heard Reggie talk about it, and then saw the post that someone else did. So that's what I'm going to do. In 6 months, we'll see what happens. So thanks everybody for watching.